Yes, everyone, welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson. This is the transfer talk for today. As you can see, we have got all sorts going on, and we are going to be talking about those comments from Paul Pogba. Believe you me, we are. But before we get into that, Aaron Wan Bissaka looks like he's going to be the next signing for Manchester United. The Guardian reporting yesterday that United are going to go back in this week. A bit of around about 50 million. There's talk of 54, 53, 56. We're in the ballpark, aren't we? Sounds like Crystal Palace are believed to be happy with that, so that's a good one to get over the line. I've liked Aaron Wan Bissaka for this entire season, and remember last year when people was going, why is Timbo not playing? Played a few games at centre-half, and then they moved him to right-back, and then he disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, the reason why he disappeared off the face of the earth is that they had their own kid coming through, and it's like, why are we going to bother wasting time developing somebody for United when we've got our own top-draw player potentially in Wan Bissaka? Wan Bissaka then got the rest of that season and has come in for the whole of this season, and he's been absolutely sensational. Leads the league in all sorts of metrics. Very interested to see what he does if he comes to United. I was very interested to see what would happen if he actually ended up in the England squad, to be honest, because I think he was more than good value for it. Hopefully we get this one over the line, because I think this one is a good one for United to get done and sorted. The next one that we're going to be talking about is Ndombele. Now, that's a guy that I'm a big fan of as well. This has come up, it's in the MEN, but it's also reported in some reputable papers. And it says that the Lille midfielder says that he's off on his holidays before making a decision, and he's hinted that Spurs might be his preferred choice. United have also been putting the mixer in there as well. I think it's very easy to put United in there. I'm not sure that we're actually in for him. I hope we are, but I'm not sure that we are. For the money being talked about in the 50 million kind of range, this is an absolute no-brainer for me. Definitely, if you're looking at Paul Pogba leaving, we're going to have to find reinforcements. We might even need a couple of reinforcements that change the way that that United midfield plays. Ndombele, for me, is going to be an absolute sensation whether he signs for United, whether he signs for Spurs. If he comes to the Premier League, I expect him to absolutely smash it. Let's hope that we can get him over the line. And then Maguire. Now, the Express, again, going with this one, said that United are looking at cash plus player, and with Rojo and Bay being potential candidates that we could send to Leicester instead of coming back. Now, there's also reports saying that United aren't put off by the £80 million asking price. So it's anyone's guess what United are actually trying to offer for the guy. Are we actually putting the full caboodle in? Are we going, there's 80 million, happy days? Or are we going, there's 60 million and you can have Rojo or you can have Bay instead? Either way, Harry Maguire. Now, he's not the sexiest name out there. He's not the most stylish. He's not the most slick. But he's a bloody good defender. And I like the way he steps out. Now, there's total differences in the way he plays. I personally don't think he's as good on the ball as someone as De Ligt, but I think he's way better in the air than someone like De Ligt. De Ligt would have been my first choice. Actually, Koulibaly would have been my first choice. Doesn't look like we're going to get that one over the line. De Ligt probably would have been my second choice. And probably Alderweireld would have been my third. But Maguire's not even though he's fourth on my list, he's not like, we're not making do with Maguire. That's a player that still takes Manchester United's defence forward if we got him in. If we brought in Maguire and Wan Bissaka to go alongside Lindelof and Shaw, well, is that the best defence in the league? Probably not. But it's not a bad one. It's certainly not a bad one. And it's a good platform for United to build from. We have to look at the midfield, certainly have to lose in Herrera and possibly lose in Paul Pogba. And then we need to probably bolster the attack somewhat. I see a lot of starting 11s going around at the moment as well, with Daniel James starting in them. I hope that's not the case, to be honest with you. I hope that isn't the case. I hope he's a squad player, not a first-choice player. I really do. In terms of the outs, we're talking about Paul Pogba, essentially, aren't we? Paul Pogba's come out and said that he thinks it's time for a new challenge. After the best season that I've had in a United shirt, I mean, yeah, he scored a lot of goals. Most of those were penalties, but I don't know about the best season. There's a lot of cases made that probably his first season was very likely his best season. I don't know about last season being his best season. In fact, no, I'll just straight disagree with him saying that last season was his best season. I really don't think it was. There was a period in the middle where he was, no doubt, the best midfielder in the world. For about 5 or 6 games where he was just unplayable, absolutely electric, having a brilliant impact on the team, driving us forward. And we was like, the Paul Pogba we thought we signed has arrived. And then he went on international duty, said it was a dream to play for Zidane, and totally tossed it off to the end of the season. Finishing it kind of the way he started it, which was like looking like a World Cup hangover. Disagree with you, Paul, that you say that this is your best season. Now, there's been absolute carnage. Now, I think a lot of people support players more than they support the football team, and I can't wrap my head around that in the slightest. This club has seen so many great players go that I don't think just because someone's a good player is not a reason to keep them. You're trying to build a team. You're trying to build an ethos. You're trying to build a spirit, a collective mentality of a team that's going to work together and fight together and put in that extra, that graft that we need to see. Yes, you need quality players, but you need quality players that are going to do that. If quality players are just there to be like, I'm dead good, I don't have to work hard, that's why you see the likes of Leicester winning titles. That's why you see the likes of Leicester with inferior players coming ahead of people that they shouldn't do. Because the team comes first. The team and the system has to come first and foremost. It's a team game, not an individual game. I don't get people who are more about individual players than they are the team. The badge is on the front for a reason. The name is on the back for a reason. It's about the team. The team comes first. And for me, Paul Pogba doesn't put Manchester United first. He gets away with murder because he's arguably our best player. But you know what? We can move on. We can be a better team if it's not all about the Paul Pogba show. We can be a better team if we're able to, and I don't trust the board to invest in. I don't trust the board to replace it. But I still think, do you know what? If you don't want to be here, go, mate. Because I'd rather have a hard-working team that I feel connected to than people that take the piss out of this club, which is what it feels like Paul Pogba's done. How many times, he tried to go last summer. He tried his hardest to go and United didn't get a bid that they wanted. That might happen this year. I think that's a very good chance of happening this year, to be honest. But I almost don't know if that's the right thing to do. If we can get Paul Pogba that played those couple of months, United are a better team. But if you get the Paul Pogba that makes it all about him, that dwells on the ball, that tries to pull a trick out rather than play a simple ball, then we are not better for keeping him. We'd have been better investing in players, 2 or 3 players that aren't as good as Paul Pogba, but are going to do the simple, basic things and actually work for the club. Because when he's good, he's very, very good. But when he's bad, he's detrimental to the team. And I don't get the back and forward over him saying, we can't lose him, he's our best player. The guy don't want to be here. And neither does Dave. And neither does Lukaku. And yeah, do you know what? We are in the shit if all of them go and we don't replace them. Big time. And I do not trust this board to replace those 3 players. And I don't think you could do it all in one window anyway. United are in real danger of slipping backwards. But do you know what will buoy us back up? It's trusting in some of our academy players, trusting in hard-working players. We haven't got the ability and the team to cockily knock it around the place. We're shit. So if you're shit, you need to be outworking people. United was the 2nd worst team for work rate last year. That's unacceptable. Let's get back to the basics of never being outworked. Yeah? Do you know what? He might be bigger than you. He might be stronger than you. He might be faster than you. He might be more skillful than you. But you can control how hard you work. And for me, that's where it's got to start. Work hard, good things follow. That's it from me. I'm out of here. See you in the next one. Laters.